Hello friends. In today's presentation, we are going to see about data privacy and cyber awareness. So, in this presentation, we will go through these four stages. Number one will be introduction and importance. Number two will be privacy permissions. Number three will be privacy laws. And at last, we will see some tips on how to keep your data protected. So, there are many things you can do online, from entertaining yourself all the way up to completing monetary transactions. While it has made your life more convenient, but at the same time, it is very important to know the trade-offs that it comes with. So, what data are we talking about? Are we talking about any publicly available information? No. We are specifically talking about your private data. That may include your name, your home address, your date of birth, your credit card number, your email address, and because of social media nowadays, location, chat history also. So, what is data privacy? So, data privacy is also called information privacy. It is that aspect of information technology that deals with the ability an individual or organization has to determine what data in a computer system or mobile can be shared with third parties. Mutually shared information is okay. For example, I am here, I share my data with some second person that is my friend. Now that is a mutually shared information I have shared with my consent. Now I don't want that that person shares my data to any third party without my consent. So that is the whole concept of data privacy. So why is data privacy important? When data that should be kept private gets in the wrong hands, bad things can happen. A data breach at a government agency can, for example, put top secret information into the hands of an enemy state. A breach at a corporation can put the proprietary data in the hands of a competitor. Now, a data breach at an individual level can pose a threat to your identity. We will see how. So, now we are done with our first stage, that was introduction and importance. We will move on to privacy permissions. So, you can see your screen, there are some permissions. When we install any application, it asks us to allow the app of some permissions. Now, you can see Twitter is asking for contacts and Skype is asking for camera. That is legit, that is acceptable, because these apps revolve around such processes that require these permissions. So you should always check what permissions are you allowing an app to use. Now here you can see in the first image, it says allow calculator to make and manage phone calls. Now that is something you should be aware of. Why a calculator app would need permissions to manage phone calls? So that is something fishy there. Okay. Similarly, again, very famous application that is Share It. It is asking for contacts and location information. So that is not acceptable, because what this application does is simply transfer files via Wi-Fi or anything, Bluetooth, anything, but it has nothing to do with my contacts or location. So I should not allow these permissions. Another application you can see is SwiftKey keyboard. It is asking for SMS and photo media files permission. So these are all suspected permissions you can see in the rectangle box. You should always be aware of what permissions are you allowing an app to use. Now Google knows everything about you. It has your Gmail account. It knows where you have emailed, what emails do you receive, your YouTube search history, your contacts, your Google search history, your passwords, locations, documents, everything. It also tracks the location on the basis of place, time, day, etc. You can see on the right hand side here. So Google knows everything about you. Now we are done with our second stage also, that was privacy permissions, and we will now move on to privacy laws. So how is rest of the world dealing with data privacy? So the European Union has introduced the European Union General Data Protection Regulation. So it was brought into effect on 25th of May 2018. So according to this, any company worldwide that collects or processes personal data of an individual in the EU, European Union, are subject to these regulations under the EU GDPR. So what are these regulations? See, if any company breaches the data of some individual and it is found that it is guilty of doing such thing, in that case, the company is liable to pay a fine of 20 million euros or 4% of their annual worldwide revenue. So this is the penalty that they have to pay. Another thing, if such data breach happens, so that company is liable to inform the affected person within 72 hours that, sir, your data has been hacked or your data is at breach. Okay, so this is the concept of EU GDPR. Now, what about India? India does have an IT Act, but it specifically does not have a Data Protection Act in effect as of now. So, a data protection bill was introduced in December 11, 2019, but it has not been made an act by now, until now. So, what does this data protection bill proposes to offer? There are some key points. Number one, all the data has to be categorized under three heads, that is general, sensitive, and critical. Okay. So, what about the penalties? Sharing data without consent will entail a fine of rupees 15 crore or 4% of global turnover. On the other side, data breach or inaction will entail a fine of rupees 5 crore or 2% of the global turnover. So here are some recent cases you can see on your screen. SpiceJet data breach exposes data of 12 lakh passengers. Okay. Another side, 3.2 million Indian debit cards at risk. These are all recent cases. Okay. So you can see how important is data privacy. So now we are done with privacy laws, and we will now move on to some tips that you have to know to keep your data protected. So we will move on. Number one is password. Okay, so protect your accounts with powerful unique passwords that contain a combination of uppercase and lowercase letters, symbols, and numbers. Don't write them down, not even in a password protected file, but you can use a good password manager. There are many applications available on desktop, iOS, and Android that you can install, which are known as password managers. So you can use them because they encrypt your passwords and it is not easily breachable. So it is the one thing, that is password. Second, unsecured networks. Okay, do not open personal data or accounts on social media via unsecured Wi-Fi networks. Okay, to do some monetary transactions, for example, you do internet banking. Do not ever do any transaction of internet banking over an unsecured public network, which is free. Okay, always use a private network having a secure connection. Links. Number three is links. So you should never click on unknown links that you receive on your message, on your WhatsApp or email. Okay, so don't get into the trap of winning freebies. Check the authenticity of the website. Okay, so here you can see in the left hand side, example of British Airways is giving away free tickets to everyone to celebrate its birthday. And you can see the website also, http firstflights.com and something. Okay, on the right hand side also, activate WhatsApp video calling version leaked with HD quality something, and website also http whatsapp.videocalling.ml. Why I'm focusing on http, I will let you know. Okay, another Cadbury is distributing free chocolates, this and that. Again, http www.cadburyindia.com. So you have to always check privacy policy and terms and conditions of these websites. If they are mentioned, you have to read them. If they are not mentioned, stay away. Don't put any important data on these websites. Now, there is a concept of secure socket layer. Okay, whenever you visit any website, always check whether it is preceded by HTTP or HTTPS. So what does this S signifies? This S signifies that this website is protected by secure socket layer, SSL. Okay, which means that whatever data you share on this website, there is a high probability that this data will be kept secure. And if you visit any website that does not have S after HTTP, then there is a high probability that your data will be breached, that your data will be compromised. So never share any data on non-SSL certified websites. How will you check? Just check HTTP or HTTPS. If there is S, then okay, otherwise stay away. Okay, number four, unknown sources. So you should never install applications from external websites other than Play Store or Apple App Store. Okay, for downloading applications, beware of cracked and paid apps. So you should never download cracked apps or paid apps. You should always install from authentic sources that are Play Store for Android, App Store for iOS. Okay. So Here's a very interesting task you can do. What you have to do is keep your mobile besides you and talk about randomly. Keep the data on, keep your phone aside and talk about some random products. For example, uh, I would like to go to the zoo with my family in the town, or I would like to shop for some clothing, etc. I want to buy a new hair dryer. Okay, repeat these things multiple times in a day. Okay, and you will be surprised to see that after doing this exercise for 2 days, from the third or fourth day onwards, you will see yourself getting ads. Okay, whenever you will browse something or visit any website, you will see ads regarding these things which you will say to your phone. So how it is happening? Whenever you install any shopping application, for example, here I have mentioned to Flipkart or Amazon. When you install these, they ask for your microphone permission. Have you ever checked that? No, we simply allow that yes, my microphone, you use my microphone. So what happens here is your microphone is on 24 hours, and what you say to your mobile, it listens, and in the back end it processes the data, and according to that data it shows you the ads. Okay, if you say I want to buy a hair dryer, I want to buy a hair dryer, from the third day onwards you will see recommendations on your feed about hair dryers, ads about hair dryers. So that is, you can try. So last is messaging. Use messaging apps that comes with end-to-end encryption. Now, this is a little bit more of in written form. I will explain you how end-to-end encryption works in the next slide. For now, please pay attention to this. Most modern messaging apps use encryption, but in many cases, it's what they call encryption in transit. So here the messages are decrypted on the provider's side and stored on its servers. Okay. So what if someone hacks those servers? Now, don't take that risk. Choose end-to-end encryption always. That way, even the messaging service provider cannot see your conversations. Use a messaging app that comes with end-to-end encryption. For example, WhatsApp. Now, WhatsApp has by default end-to-end encryption enabled. But in Facebook Messenger and Telegram, it does not use end-to-end encryption by default. You have to manually start a secret chat to enable E2E encryption. We will see what that is. So no third party is involved when we are transferring data through E2E. Now, how E2E works? End-to-end encryption, you see here there is a sender. He sends the data, and while it is traveling, the funnel through which is traveling is encrypted, and the recipient receives it after decryption. So what happens is the funnel through which the data is traveling cannot be cracked even by the servers, and the service providers cannot see what information is being traveled. So you send the data, the receiver receives the data, only you two know what you sent and what the other side received. So this is a big advantage of end-to-end encryption. So these are all 4 stages we discussed today. So this was all for today's presentation. I hope you liked it. Thanks for watching.